going on as we move toward the fall. Those who are interested can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, sign up to subscribe to Nixle alerts, read our quarterly newsletters, check out our constantly updated website at www.danville.ca.gov. In closing, I'm going to mention to the town council that your study session next week is on the 15th, which is a Wednesday, due to the recall election on Tuesday. That study session was initially scheduled to run from 8:30 to noon, with 2 closed session items to follow. Apparently now we have a conflict with Visit Tri-Valley's annual luncheon that is taking place in Pleasanton starting at 11:30 on the 15th, and I know that most of you are signed up to go to that. So we've got 6 items on the study session agenda, plus 2 closed session items to follow, and I would like council's concurrence to move the start time of that study session forward to 8 a.m. So that you can adjourn by 11 in order to go to the Visit Tri-Valley luncheon. The items that are not able to be covered in that 3-hour time window are going to need to be continued probably to the 21st because they won't wait until your October study session. So perhaps at the conclusion of your meeting this evening under council reports, we can, you can give us some direction in terms of whether or not you're fine with being able to start that meeting at 8 o'clock on the 15th. So with that, I'm going to conclude my comments. Happy to accept any feedback or respond to any council questions.
Thank you, Joe. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know there's a lot to cover in such a short period of time, so thank you for that thorough yet succinct update. Are there any questions or comments from council? Robert?
Just one question. Joe, on that mural for the new town offices, is there a theme that we put out there that we'd like to see artists sort of follow, or is it just, you know, bring your ideas and we'll look at them?
Yeah, the call that's been put out to artists indicates that, you know, we're pursuing a theme that I will describe as capturing the history of the community, if you will. So while there is plenty of latitude in terms of how artists can do that, that's the direction that we have pointed them in.
Okay, and the study session will be held in the conference room, North Conference Room.
It'll be at the Veterans Memorial Building.
Got it. Okay.
Are there any other questions? I have one real quick. So I wanted to talk to you just real quick to make sure that we've reached out to the Hope Hospice Tree of Lights. They're doing their Tree of Lights in right where that oak tree is, and it's on November 19th. So I just wanted to make sure that we don't plan to do any work during that time in that area. So just an FYI about the event that they have scheduled for that time.
So you would like to make sure that we avoid November the 19th.
Correct, because they'll be having their event there that evening.
Yeah, that is duly noted, and again, just to avoid any confusion on the part of anyone who might be watching, the Hospice Tree of Lights is not the tree that has been impacted by the fire ants and the crown rot. That's the tree next to the town meeting hall. The Hospice Tree of Lights is the one that is out in front of the town meeting hall, closer to Front Street.
Correct. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for that clarification. Robert?
Yeah, just a follow-up, Joe. Are we asking Mr. McNeil to look at other trees to see if they have the same issues with the crown rot and the fire ants, or is this just isolated in that one tree? I'm just trying to figure out if to keep us avoiding from losing other trees naturally.
Well, Mr. McNeil and now his son who work in tandem. We have them look at our larger heritage oak trees with some frequency. So they are, the heritage oak tree on Diablo Road, for example, has been under their care. This particular tree has been as well. There's another large tree out at Wood Ranch at the entrance into that neighborhood that they look at. So they work with our maintenance department on a regular basis. And what I would say is that the condition of this tree is essentially a function of age and the fact that it has been paved and and built around. But these trees, while they have a long lifespan, they do have a lifespan. And with the proximity of buildings and people to this tree, Mr. McNeil is recommending that it's necessary to remove it.
I appreciate the explanation. Thank you.
Newell?
Joe, first of all, thank you for the updates and report, and really out to all of our staff for still just doing an extraordinary job, even though we're sort of in COVID, out of COVID at the town offices and how we run things. It still takes a lot more effort to do the same jobs, given the protocols, the restrictions, and the needs back to the community. So, just from the council, a huge thank you to the whole team. The second thing is, as you know, with Traffic's program, we asked the school district to do a big lift, and that lift was to adjust all those bell times in school. So I suspect we used all of our chits up to accomplish that, and going ahead next year, they're telling us there's going to be some challenges. So making sure we bring all of those up at once, I think, and the earlier the better, we'll hopefully get the best result for all our programs. So just an FYI. Thanks, Joe.
Karen?
All right. I just wanted to comment on that corridor. I'm sorry that it's going to take a whole year, and I'm a little unclear who's been spoken to so far and whether there's any flexibility. I mean, it was backed up, the traffic from Green Valley all the way almost through Diablo, along Diablo Road. And I said to my husband, I said, they're going to wait through what, 8 lights before they get through there. It's people can't plan their work schedule around it the way it is right now. So it's unfortunate, and I think it needs to be remediated sooner than that if there's any way that can happen.
Dave?
Yeah, this is I guess this is the moment where we pile on traffic. Joe, you made a comment regarding the replacement of the signal controllers and the communication equipment, and the count is there's 60 intersections that are being impacted. Of those, 54 are owned by our town and 6 are owned by Caltrans. Could you update us on what the schedule is by Caltrans to replace those controllers and communication equipment, especially at those critical intersections based on surveys and incidents where we may be having some significant, I'll call it resident safety or potential safety issues?
Yeah, Councilmember Fong, unfortunately, I'm not able to do that. I don't know what the status of Caltrans efforts with respect to those 6 intersections are. I would have to query our transportation staff to see if they know the answer to that question, because I do not.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
we also
you get
have
where I'm
item
going.
5.3. Item 5.3 is coming up this evening as well. So we might be able to redirect that question as well, just to go ahead, Newell.
Yeah, I was just going to add, I know a little bit about that, and it's actually going to be longer than we all think. That there is a program that's approved by Contra Costa Transportation Authority on the Smart Corridor, and it will be looking at every intersection between Alamo and Costa Boulevard, all of those signals on and off, the ramp metering connections, all of that. And we have the University of California and some other significant partners who are working on how to coordinate all of those and what technology changes we'll need. So there is some really exciting things. we and all the other cities need to make sure that our equipment is up to the latest and greatest so it can interface, because by the time that smart corridor decisions are made, that technology that's going to go in theirs is going to be the latest and greatest, and it will need to coordinate with all of ours too. So there's a lot more to come on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's important.
my comment to that is, while it's not on a schedule, when all that happens, I would suggest we urge, especially in those high, I call them critical intersection areas, we need to urge that Caltrans to really treat it with a higher priority.
And I think the funding aspect of it is important as well, and the modernization. So we've been dealing with that on a legislative level as well. So more on that to come. So are there any other questions or comments for the town manager this evening? Okay, if not, I'm going to go ahead and move on to item number 7, which is communications. Item number 7.1 is our annual Farmers Market Manager Report by Andrew Croft and Elizabeth Guerin. And I'd like to say we didn't have the Farmers Market this past Saturday because of the parade, but we're anxious to hear what's happening moving forward. So thank you both for being here with us this evening. And I think we've got you both on mute, so I have to unmute you here. There you go.
Got it. Hey guys, how's it going? So yeah, so Andrew recently took over for me, I think, as you all are aware, if you haven't met him yet. So I told him I would take the lead this round, but he could comment at the end to talk about what his plans are for the market going forward. I was recently promoted to regional manager, which is great. So I do Contra Costa and Solano County now. So the Danville market will still be within my region. And Andrew will be taking over from here on out. Just since I've done the market for, I think, about 5 years now, I'm pretty familiar with it. And I would say the story is the same for everybody. COVID hit hard for the market in particular, but we're definitely coming back. So going back to 2019, we had our crowd counts were great. The market was the best it had ever been. Since I had been there, we had maximum amount of stalls being used. I think at the most we had at one time was 70 stalls being used, and the crowd counts were almost up to 2,200, which was the most I had ever seen. It was really great. There's a lot of community aspects going on. We had 2 spots for the chamber members, and I just loved it. Every day, every Saturday was my favorite day. I always joked with everybody that I work 4 days in the office and 1 day at the market. And my favorite day was Saturday because it didn't even feel like work, So in 2019, we finished up the cookbook. Everything was going smoothly. 2020 hit, and we closed the market for 2 months, which obviously had some hard effects. We limited the stalls to about half capacity with a lot of spaces in between. We put the 10 spaces, I would say we did the best that we could, and I think we sustained a safe market. My vendors did well considering what was going on, and we took out the hot food vendors, and then we added some back in August. We lost a couple farms that were staples. So we lost Tomatero and we lost Frog Hollow, which are 2 pretty well-known farms, I would say, for the regular people that come often. But we replaced them this year, and I would say 2021 has definitely been looking up. We're still down quite a bit. We're down 26% in regards to crowd counts, maxing out at about 1,450. But ironically, we're up, maybe not ironically, but we're up 2% from 2019 install usage. So we're doing okay. We just don't have the crowds that we once had, but we're getting there. As Newell said earlier, we're kind of in between this, are we in COVID, are we out of COVID? And I think people are just still hesitant on doing anything that might be, even if it's outside. But I would say that the market is a place where people can still gather and feel that community, that, maybe some more normalcy than what they get in their typical lives. We also added music back this year. We added the chamber booths back, which was really great. Again, adding those local businesses back into the market, which I always love to, meet those local restaurants, local companies that are coming in and just trying to make their name known to the community of Danville. We do our best with posting on social media. Liana's great at the Live Locally Danville Instagram. We work together. She'll often ask me and now Andrew for photos of the market so that she can promote it on her side, and we do it on our side with the Facebook things. And we always send out like coupons and stuff for local Danville people. So, I would say up and up for sure. Andrew got his degree in events and recreation and tourism admin. So he's very well versed in how to create more events at the market that are going to be speaking to that community. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what he wants to do with the market, because I don't have that same background that he has. Yeah, and Andrew, if you want to say anything on that, you absolutely can.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you guys once again for having me. Like Liz said, I do have a background in parks, recreation, and tourism administration, and that's kind of where I hope to bring some of that to the table, especially as we get out of the peak season for farmers markets, and we do generally see a decrease by a little bit in the crowd count. So I'm hoping to provide activities for families that keep the markets exciting and keeps everybody excited while they're there to be at the farmers market and learn about all the great produce and other vendors that we do have there. So I'm excited to provide those activities when the time does come. And I've bounced some ideas off of lists and some of you council members at the market. So I really hope to bring some of those in the upcoming months.
Is that it? Not that that's not enough, but okay.
I mean, if you guys want to ask us any questions specifically about the market, I didn't, I just kind of was going to do a recap on 2019, 2020, and 2021. And I just thought this would be a good opportunity to introduce Andrew to all of you. I'm sure you've all met him at the market, but yeah, that's pretty much all I had. Renee, if you want to add anything else,
Is there anybody else Karen?
Oh, I'd like to add the fact that we keep having lines of people wanting market cash. I think that's a really positive thing, and especially the way you both are encouraging people to get a bigger amount, because the fee is the same regardless. And I think it really encourages people to keep coming back, as you've seen at your other markets. So I just wanted to compliment you on that part. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. With the closure of Chase right around the corner, I think we started getting more of that because I think Fremont Bank is across, and then we have mechanics in Lenardi's. So, I think it's just an easier way for people to get some cash.
A place where they can only spend it at our market. I think it's creative.
Yeah.
Newell?
Great. Well, it's great to see you again, Liz. Thanks for the 5 years that you've given us. You turned the market around. You handed it off to Andrew in a great spot. His background in recreation and leisure service is fantastic. And I think, Andrew, congratulations on getting assigned to this market. We've all had an opportunity to see you. I think you've just hit a home run in getting in the right place with the right skill sets and the right attitude. So we look forward to it, and look forward to any ideas you have. Well, we had somebody suggested ideas last time. We'll revisit those again in the future. But thank you for everything you're doing. It is exciting. The market really is back, and you guys have done a great job. So thank you.
Okay, I don't see anybody else's hand up. Oh, Robert, I'm sorry.
No, thank you. And Andrew, it was a pleasure meeting you. I'm really excited to see what new things and new adventures we'll see at the market here. And since we have our town manager on screen here, maybe you could just confirm that you have seen all the council members attend farmers markets since you've been there.
Yes,
Oh, wait, did he pay you to say this now?
no,
I've seen all of you.
no. I've definitely I got a chance to meet everybody, and just kind of building that connection like Liz has had over the years is definitely something I'm excited to look forward to with each of you. So yeah, no, I've gotten a chance to meet you, but really looking forward to getting a chance to better know you guys.
Yeah. Our town managers doesn't always know if we're at the farmer's market, but thanks for confirming that, Andrew.
Oh yeah.
One of the things as well is the mix of uses at the farmer's market. How is that mix working for you? I know that we've kind of played with a little bit over the years. Is from now that you're moving on and you're handing it to Andrew, what do you think about the mix that we have, the 25% and all of that? Is that working for our market?
You mean the 75, it's 80% agriculture and 20% non-ag.
Okay, 80-20.
Yeah, 80-20. And then during the winter seasons, we go to 70-30.
Right.
It works okay. I would say I get a lot more inquiries about non-ag. I'm sure Andrew does too, more about non-ag or, food vendors versus farmers. But I personally like the discrepancy. I like having it be a farmer's market. So I like the 80%, 20%. If we went, if you went 75-25, I'd be fine with that too. Anytime I do add somebody that's non-ag, I try to make them local, like I only want local vendors coming in. So recently, right before Andrew took over for me, I added a bakery from Walnut Creek. And then we also have Tal's Patisserie coming in, and she's from Danville. So, I made that exception, just being like, I would rather serve the Danville community than have just any old non-ag person coming in. Yeah, so, I don't know. It's up to you guys. If you want to keep it, I'm fine with it either way. But I like having it majority farmers and agricultural producers.
Yeah, and we appreciate that you keep it Danville and keep it local. It's really important for us as well to make sure that we're, especially now with the pandemic and everything that's happened, that we're definitely supporting local and that we're not reaching beyond our borders per se, unless we absolutely have to.
Right.
I want to mention to you before we move on, just first of all, thank to both of you for being here. Andrew, we look forward to having fun with you at the market as well, like we've done with Liz. And, we already have our assignments for next year, thanks to Marie Sanseri. She's already sent out our assignments for the farmer's market for next year. So we're all set. So there's no excuse that you won't see us. So, and I still want that little bell. I know that we're supposed to use
I know you do. Okay.
I want my little bell so that when somebody comes up, we can just ring the bell to tell you that somebody's there to get, market money. So, but anyways, I'll probably end up getting Andrew that now since I never got it for you, Liz. But
lucky you, Andrew. You're so lucky.
I'll probably hide it when I'm not there. But thank you all for being here. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you this coming Saturday. So thank you so much. Thanks for the report. And Liz, thanks for everything. We so appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 7.2. And this brings us back to Mr. Henry Perez Alonso. He's our Recreation, Arts, and Community Service Director, and he is going to be giving us a report this evening. Welcome, Henry.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. It's been a little while, I think, since I've shared this information with you in this formal capacity. But as always, I look forward to sharing with you a little bit about the Recreation, Arts, and Community Services Department. And if it's all right with everybody, I'm going to share my screen as I have a PowerPoint that I will talk through with you. Make sure that, is that visible to all? All right, excellent. Well, thank you. Then I'll go ahead and go through again what we've got going for you tonight. Again, right now it continues to be a time, and it's been discussed a few times tonight about it being a time of recovery, and that really is the time for us in our department as we continue to provide the activities and different programs that promote health and wellness and encourage people to go outside, to be active, to be a part of the community. And I just wanted to, again, remind you all that we do this through a variety of ways. So really, the Recreation, Arts, and Community Services keeps on going. One of the things I wanted to share with you, just to kind of set the stage a little bit as well, is that you will see, as it was talked about the Danville today, that is coming up to you. I know in that particular, the next issue you'll see in the center spread, a little information from us. We're still going strong here in the pandemic. It'll share a little bit with how many households we served, and this is really from the July 2020 timeframe to June 2021. Over 1,800 families took part in our programs and over 5,700 total participants in classes and programs. And they did that through social connections that were made, whether it be through art exhibits, classes, volunteer opportunities, rentals of picnic tables or bocce. They exercise mental health through being outside fitness and aquatics classes. Again, we were able to add a couple of pickleball courts that you'll see kind of listed in there. And then again, more specifically, connecting to seniors during this as we respond to the services that are needed. And that really is talking about the senior meals and the participants that we were able to help throughout that time frame. And I wanted to share that little preview of what you will see in that center spread. The other thing I wanted to share with you as well is that throughout the years, the NRPA, which is the National Association of Recreation and Parks, those folks do pulse surveys, and pulse surveys really kind of get an idea through this company that they utilize to gain information from folks nationally about different parks and recreation topics. And there's two that specifically I wanted to share with you this morning as we kick off too. One of them specifically is about mental health. Nearly 93% of US adults that were surveyed say that activities offered by their local park and recreation professionals and their agencies really are beneficial to their mental health. They indicated that they receive mental health benefits from socializing with friends and family, spending time in nature and exercising, all of the things that we're able to do through the town. They also talk about taking classes or learning something new and how that really helps them to have a better mental health. Local parks and recreations really are instrumental in providing these opportunities, and it's not just here in Danville, but nationwide. And that's something that I really wanted to make sure that I got a chance to share with you all. The second pulse survey they came out is one that they say summer means happy memories, which I really like too. Nearly every adult that was surveyed looks back fondly at summertime activity or tradition that they created in parks and recreation. For many, it really is about going to the beach or the lake, but the parks and the playgrounds are where especially form fun childhood memories. While for others, going to summer camp, hiking, and playing sports also sparks that nostalgia. So it's really kind of fun to see how that happens. So Parks and Recreation not only gives kids a fun place to create lifelong memories, but again, it offers working parents a safe, affordable option for childcare. So love to see the fact that the childhood memories are made throughout our summer, and that's what we really try and do for all of us. Now, as we look at the memories that are made, let me just kind of break down the numbers a little bit for this summer 2021. We offered 709 different programs, whether it be classes or aquatics programs. We ran about 594 of them. So 83% of the classes we offered, we got to run, which was fun for us. We served about 80% residents, which is fun. In relation to how we did in the summer of 2029, really what we're looking at, we did about 70% of what we did in 2019. So for coming back, and remember, being in the recovery, I believe that we're looking good and we're moving forward very well. So those were our summer numbers. Now, as I take you through the summer, I'm just going to kind of go month to month to see how we kicked off our summer. In June, we had our staff training, our hands-on training this year with actual campers. So what we did is we took our new staff and we let them observe with our veteran staff as they ran a camp. So that was something a little bit different that we did. So it was kind of training by immersion, which was fun to see. We brought back our counselor and training program this summer after a year-long break. So that was wonderful, wonderful to have the kids back out there and learning, as we know that is a potential recruiting ground for future staff members. Our summer camps, again, they had traditional camps that we did, but we also looked at 8 different campsites this year. The town also created new pocket camps, is what we call them, never before done before, but they were completely outdoors. So we went to whether it's Osage or Sycamore Valley Parks, we did at both sites, we did something all outdoor. And we were fortunate enough, I think maybe there was one day that we had to come inside for, smoke or something like that, but really it was nice to know that we were outside and able to do what we needed to do. Our aquatics folks not only did swim lessons, but were able to run 2 aquatic camps this year, the Danville Wave Riders, which is something we started last year, kind of a junior guard type of program. And then also what we call Splash, which was all about giving tweens just a time to hang out and play aquatic recreation games and pools. So it was fun to be able to do those things this summer, of course, along with our sports camps and adult tennis camps. We also, as you know, had our Shroom and Lumen art exhibit throughout the summer, which we have just a few more days before those go away and go to the next city and or exhibit location. Senior summer bocce officially started in June, which was nice. And also the art gallery was able to host its first artist reception in over a year during that month. COVID safe little party, prepackaged snacks, just again, an opportunity for people to see what was going on in the gallery, but also see the Shroom and Lumen. Our preschool performance series, Kidchella, Liz Grant for comedy, all of those things went outdoors in the summer. So we were able to really kind of adjust and adapt and make things happen outdoors with some of our really popular programs that came through. We partnered with the For the Valley, again, with the folks over at Community Presbyterian Church for a drive-in movie as we had Grease. And then picnic and bocce reservations really began to take off in June. Come July, the Danville Senior Center hosted its first in-person buzz session in July, which was really nice. And the Senior Book Club came back, and an opportunity to meet inside for the first time in 18 months. It's been a nice go to have the folks coming back and also trying to, as we've talked about, balance the current guidelines. So although these pictures show no masks, I know that now they are wearing masks. So it's one of those things that they do. They are adapting, they're adapting well, which I really appreciate for what they did. Our Arts and Rec on the Go adapted, and again, our drive up Arts and Rec program, which is kind of fun. We were able to go to all the different park sites. This year, we added something where we had our staff go to each one of the camps that we're doing, run some programs, and then stay at that park site and then run open for the rest of the public, which was really nice. We continued our aquatic program and camp contracts as well. The other things that we did too is we had Art After Dark. So we had our Shroom and Lumen, and part of the Shroom and Lumen was to have other activities to activate the town green, which is something that was really, again, one of the priorities for our Parks, Recreation Arts Commission, as well as our Arts Advisory Board. So in an effort to activate those, we had Art After Dark. We had some musicians out there, a time for folks to just really hang out at the park. They came to the town green, they listened to music, they enjoyed the art of not only Shroom and Lumen, but then we opened the doors at night to the art gallery, and they were able to see the current exhibits, which was nice. And we had a lot of great responses for that, even for folks that didn't necessarily come for specifically the event, but just finished dinner and then walked into the gallery and really appreciated it being open at that time, which was nice for us. Along with that, we continued our what we called our Kids Night Out program, and we would partner up with events like Art After Dark. So the parents can go do the Art After Dark, and then we had our kids doing the Kids Night Out. So it was a nice way to combine some of our programming and take care of the whole family. Of course, we started our Music in the Park, as Joe mentioned earlier. We also continued online programming, virtual Shakespeare workshop with Midsummer Night's Dream, which was kind of fun. And the first camp that sparked my interest this summer, because I actually heard it one day, was a Hamilton camp. We had a Hamilton camp here at the Village Theater where my office is. And I just remember singing and hearing the songs over and over again. I, for some reason, thought a coworker had just it playing on replay. But then I realized as I heard the giggling and talking, it was the kids. And it was one of the best feelings to know, one, that the kids were here again, active, but then to hear them enjoying the programs that we provide. So that was wonderful. We've had art camps and continue to have art workshops throughout. Celebrate Harry Potter's birthday, as we always do in July, because that's always a fun thing to do, which then brought us into our basically our last month of the summer. So in August, we continued on our Contra Costa County's Cafe Costa program, which was the Frozen Friday meal program. That program has been fantastic throughout the year. In August itself, we served 385 meals to seniors. We look forward to sunsetting that program as we're going to start opening the doors and having it in person again here in the next couple of months. So we're looking forward to that. Our Arts and Rec on the Go folks participated with our PD and as well the council as they did National Night Out and kind of went out and about to play games, which is always fun. And then also we moved on to having another Music in the Park, another popular event. One thing I'd like to add about Music in the Park, our staff and how they adjust. The original Music in the Park, we had circles, we had pre-registration. We wanted to really help people meet them where they're at. And there were some things that we learned from the first one, that we had the pre-registration, we made sure people checked in and then sat down. For the next one, we did have pre-registration, but we didn't necessarily make anyone check in. We just had circles there in place so that people felt comfortable. We really had to work with those folks who were ready to go outside, no masks and have fun, and those that were still a little bit shy about the whole thing. And it was great because we did get comments from both ends. One, hey, how these circles work, and then two, thank you so much for the circles. So it worked both ways for us, and we are appreciative that we were able to have it nonetheless. Our adult classes also kicked off, adult art classes kicked off in August, as well as our West Coast swing class on Monday evenings. And so that's been fun to have them, again, repopulate our senior center for adult classes, about 40 students enrolled in that, and dance the night away, which we really liked. We were also able to have another artist opening reception, as right now the exhibit, Bellissimo, theme of the exhibit is artwork by Italian American and Italian artists who reside in the Bay Area. So if you haven't had a chance to come by, I encourage you to come on by to our art gallery. And last but not least, August 31st marked the birthday, as we say, of the Recreation Arts and Community Services newest member, August J. Acorn, or Augie the Acorn, who is the grand nut of the Old Oak. Augie made his official debut at the Special Arts and Rec on the Go over at Osage Station Park. It was fun to watch how people really react to Augie as Augie who he is. It's an acorn. At Osage, the kids who are playing soccer came up, played soccer with Augie, took pictures with Augie. And I have to tell you, one of my favorite things that I've gotten to see so far with Augie is the two age groups that are most drawn to Augie, teens and adults. The teens will come by and say, wow, all of a sudden they just start taking their phones out and going, can I get a picture? Can I get a selfie? So they take a selfie or get a picture with Augie. And then the adults are it's almost like they put their kids aside and they say, I want a picture. So it's been fun to see Augie. Augie is one of our opportunity to have a marketing arm everywhere. So I would anticipate that we see Augie throughout the year as we build up his story and who he's about, or who Augie's about, and where they're going to be mentioned. So you may see him at different events throughout the year, but we look forward to having Augie as part of our family and everything that Augie does for us. Now, there's always more to come. So I ask you to stay tuned. As we go into the fall, it was mentioned earlier, our Arts Advisory Board is going to be working with our staff as the mural project for the new town facility will be coming to them. We're going to be going through our public art process, allowing them to take a look at and recommend what might be moving forward. Our Senior Commission is continually working on our roadmap to age friendliness as they move forward. Our Parks Commission, it's been mentioned a couple of times that tomorrow night at their meeting, they will be having a special guest coming to speak to them from Discovery Counseling Center about mental health and how it relates to Parks and Recreation. So I think that overall theme is on board with all that is going on throughout the town. We also have tomorrow night a ferry moonlight adventure where families can come by and do a little ferry hunt throughout the downtown and have a little event. So we continue to moving through as we have Truman Lumen and the ferries throughout the downtown as being part of our summer extravaganza of fun. Again, we continue to move on with our classes. Adult sports will be starting back up again. Contract classes are starting up, and we have opened their doors this month. We're starting to take in rentals into our facilities. So that's been fun to know that there's a lot of folks calling, a lot of folks that are still interested in coming in. We do have to remind them that there are guidelines in place and they will be required to wear masks indoors. So that is something that folks are going to have to decide when they do rent our facilities. They're going to have to make sure that they're abiding by everything that we ask them for. Couple last things. Teen centers will be opening up. They opened up actually today, which was nice. So they're back and open. One of the great things for us, not only Los Cerros and Charlottewood, but now finally Diablo Vista Middle School now has Wi-Fi that is enabled for all of our students to be able to have Wi-Fi and do their homework and do some of the things they need to do within the teen center. So we're really, really excited about that. Our Danville Youth Council kicks off their year next week. And then we also kick off with our Rad Bowling. So that's about it for all that we've got going on. I want to thank you so much for allowing me to just share all that information. But I'm here for any comments, questions, concerns, or any other fun activities you may want to do.
Oh my gosh, I'm tired just listening to all the things going on. 709 classes offered or programs offered. Amazing, amazing. Are there any questions or comments for Henry? Robert?
Henry, great report as always. And I appreciate you that you're finally coming out of your shell. I really appreciate that. Pickleball, how's that going?
The pickleball courts are being utilized very much so. It is still something that's on the radar of the Parks Commission, as in something to get back to at some point. We were, I would say we were advised when we first opened them from pickleball players that chances are within 6 months, they'll be back asking for more. It is now about the 6-month mark, and I got a phone call today. So I would anticipate that the conversation will come up and be talked about before. But the courts are being utilized very well, just on their own, without any programming, without any reservations. It really is just, we're just allowing people to play.
Can you give some of the people that are listening some idea where the pickleball courts are located?
They are located at Osage Station Park right now, where the tennis courts are located as well.
I understand we have a county supervisor that lives in town that actually loves pickleball and was hoping that maybe Diablo Vista Park, Snake Park might be a candidate.
So
You never know.
Good that you put that plug in there for her. We'll let her know that you did that. And are there any other questions or comments for Henry? Newell?
Henry, it's, as Robert said, it's your enthusiasm, the whole department. The challenge is nobody had a rule book for what you guys have been through in the past 18 months. But the quality of the programs is also what gets people to come back. So I thought a new one we ought to do, although you move around so much, I think we ought to have pin the tail on the donkey with you, but you'd be the pin the tail. You move around so fast and you guys are so mobile, so creative in everything you're doing. And then maybe secretly, not now, I'd love to know who Augie the Acorn is. Don't say it out loud.
No. Augie is Augie, and I think you'll hear that from any one of our staff members.
That's just like Darth Vader. And Darth Vader, we can't tell you who Darth Vader is.
Augie is Augie, and I thank you. My staff is wonderful, and they are what provides me the enthusiasm and the charge every day to be able to come to work and know that we've got such a tremendous, talented staff here.
Well done.
Absolutely. Karen?
Just a comment on Augie. He's just adorable, and I haven't met him yet, but I walk on acorns every day with my puppy walks. They're just falling like crazy from the trees. So I'm hoping someone's collecting those while they're available. Maybe someday you'll all have a craft that makes a little Augie to take home. And I can't imagine how the seniors must react to him too when he walks in. So amazing, right, Henry?
Yes. Good response.
Yeah, he's just very warm looking, and nothing scary about him, just somebody who's going to give a hug. So thanks.
Dave?
Yeah, just compliments to you, your team, and probably more importantly, the Parks and Arts Commission. Had a chance to sit through several other commission meetings and also had one-on-one sessions with them. There's not only a commitment, but there's also a passion to really, build out the Parks and Arts program. And, they're definitely folks that were put on that really have made a difference. And I hopefully they're also contributing to your success as well. But, compliments to all of you.
The commissions and the board are phenomenal. The folks that we work with and really helping us to all move forward together, which I really appreciate.
So thank you, Henry, so much. I just wanted to end it by saying I have not had my photo yet with Augie. So I think we're all kind of anxious to get an Augie picture with all of us. So we'll have to arrange that somehow. And the other thing is I so appreciate the fact that when you came on board, I kept asking for tween, type of activities, because it was that we did the younger ones and the older ones, but we forgot the in between. And you came in and just took the ball and ran with it. And there are so many great programs. There's no reason for any of the children in Danville not to be engaged somehow, as well as adults and seniors. So thank you so much for all you do and your team. So appreciate it. And we will see you soon with Augie, I hope.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here.
Excellent.
So we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 8, which is our town council reports. And we have quite a few this evening. And the star of this evening's council reports is going to be Councilmember Stepper with her first report, being item 8.1 is the Heritage Resource Commission Liaison Report. Karen?
Oh, thank you. I think that will probably be the shortest one. A few months ago, these are the kind of meetings that kept getting canceled under COVID. So it's been exciting to see it reinstituted and to have the entire council show up at the Bret Harte Park. One of the neighbors there, I'm going to pass this on to the commission, really says, this is great to have this park looking like this. And where's the wooden sign so we can say, meet me at Bret Hart Park. So maybe they'll take that up soon. But I know that they're working on the town tours with, I said with telephones. No, not necessarily. They're looking at different options and having somebody help with that. But I'm hoping they'll come back to the HRC commissioners themselves for ideas, because those people have a lot of history to offer. And you know that they already told you, because you all have been active, that they have a couple of plaques ready to go, and they're just spreading those out so that, you know, we can maybe attract some more people. But it's always been so creative that they have extra people come to those, and having the, oh my gosh, all of a sudden the agricultural union come and talk last time. That was fascinating. I'd never heard them before. So it's just one other way to offer the community something and another reason for them to come. So I hope we spread that news. And then I think that's all for right now, because they're going to come back with those other ideas on that particular report. Thank you, Mayor.
We're looking forward to those. And then item 8.2 is Southwest Area Transportation Authority, which is also known as SWAT. And that would also be Councilmember Stepper.
All right, so to bring you up to date there, I did have some conversations with Tim Hale, and we've again having a lot of things get canceled. The public probably doesn't know that, not just because of COVID, but because August is kind of a low point in a lot of these commissions. But that doesn't mean that the SWAT and CCTA aren't going forward with a great deal of things, because they're seeking the funding for the I-680 bus service, express bus service. And hopefully the park goes between Dublin and the Park and Ride, and then again to the Walnut Creek BART, will be that project that is that first and last mile that people need to be more efficient to use public transportation. So that will be a great deal of what they're looking at right now. And hopefully, he said, it will engage the Park and Ride at Danville, but not necessarily that that's the express bus service, a large one, because Danville's smaller than some of the other communities, but another more creative way to do so. Secondly, the bike share program is also under an application right now, and we've talked about that a little bit before. But when I talked to him, I talked about the safety aspects of buses, because, bike sharing, because there are a lot of bikes that you don't pedal anymore. Which Henry will take care of that part. You got to have a lot of exercise. But if you're riding one of those other bikes, I'm sorry, I switched again. It's the bike sharing program, and it's bikes, it's not scooters. And the question is, when you're on a silent bike, because it's electric, do people hear you coming? You certainly don't hear the cars coming. And so Tim says, yes, they'll definitely be looking at the education part. And I always remember my first Segway tour was some lady got on the Segway and turned into the side of a bus, not in front of the bus, thankfully, but it reminded me that people that don't drive cars anymore, whether they're elderly or whether they're teenagers, need even more education when they're getting on something that's electric versus something that you pedal and control. But I think it's exciting that this program come to Danville. And then the third one is the accessible transportation plan findings. Dave Hudson is our representative now, appointed by SWAT, and they start their first meeting in October. We all looked at that recently on an agenda here for the council, the accessible transportation strategies. So the task force is going to identify how that proceeds going forward and who's going to oversee the planning for that agency. So defining that is the next task, and that begins in October. So that's my report for SWAT today. Some of those plans will be under the and melded with the I-680 Innovate program as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that report. I appreciate it. Item 8.3 is Tri-Valley Transportation Council, which would be myself. And that is TVTC, as it's fondly known. And we have not been sitting still during pandemic. We have actually been very busy, and we adopted the Tri-Valley Development Fee Nexus Study update The Nexus study includes the list of 23 new projects, which we have listed as our list C. We have an A and a B that were identified by the member agencies, obviously the Tri-Valley are member agencies, and proposed for inclusion in the updated program. The new projects are all regionally serving the Tri-Valley area. Total approximate is about $4.573 billion with a total of $2.7 billion in unfunded cost. The reason it's important for all of us is because we have a seat at the table and we are advocating, and I should say I'm advocating for our particular area to make sure that the funding and the projects are definitely taken a look at for the Tri-Valley. The next phase of this process consists of the preparation of the update of the TVTC strategic expenditure plan based on the Nexus study findings. So we're in the process right now for our next meeting to be going over all of that. And the process will be consisting of establishing the new fee rates and prioritizing and allocating the fee revenues for the List C projects. And that is going to be a long meeting. It's probably several meetings, but the process is expected to conclude sometime, they say, by spring 2022. I'm hoping that we're looking at a sooner completion date, hoping for fall or winter at least. I'd like to see it done a little bit sooner. So it will be brought before our town council sometime in 2022. So look for the final adoption of the TVC and of all of those projects brought before all of you as well. So it's been a busy time, but it has been definitely a good time for all of us to be advocating for our particular area and getting the projects complete. And that's my report on that. The next item is 8.5. And before I put this out to the general council, one of the things that I wanted to ask, excuse me, I've got 8.4 on here, Tri-Valley San Joaquin Valley Regional Rail report. And that is also Councilmember Stepper.
Okay, thank you. So that also has had a couple of meetings canceled. We all miss Scott Haggerty, who really got this going. He still keeps his finger in the pie. And definitely when it's looking at MTC, whom of course he was also in charge of, and the funding that is going to take place and make a difference in going forward with Valley Link. So the first thing I wanted to note was the changes in personnel, which I talked briefly before. Kevin Sheridan is the Deputy Executive Director now, working with Michael Tree, who is still the Executive Director. Amazing Michael's time that he puts into this program. Bill O'Hare, the Rail Engineering and Construction Project Manager, is brand new to us, but definitely long-term transportation expert. And Mary Ann Payne is still on board, and I actually spoke to her today. She was the first person I brought to Danville to talk about Valley Link for Danville, and she's just an expert. She wrote the sustainability plan, and she's really good at getting funds and applying for these things with her engineering background. So the staff brings an amazing amount of expertise, and it's a big change to have more space going to be coming about to house these people with the additional staff, but it's going to allow them to go forward with the work that's underway right now. They've already initiated the environmental clearance, and everything that they apply for right now needs matching funds. So what they achieved with even after Scott left was to have the matching funds available to apply for these funds. So at this point, the expedition of time is going to the not just the EIR, they're doing more than one thing at the same time, but they're looking to go now to finish the 30% design of the Valley Link system. And of course, we're talking about things going, looking towards operations and who's going to run the program and what the alignment's going to be. So the staff is evaluating what they call the zero-E mission technology, because many of the grants are looking at that for the Valley Link system, and including the use of hydrogen. And they're looking for, a program that also generates its own energy rather than relying on someone else. They're looking at the alignment of the plan, so you actually have some synergy with the ACE program that's out there right now. And Well, I guess I would say those are the main things, but I wanted to note that Mary Ann Payne, whom I just referred to, by the way, is listening in tonight. I see that she's under our participants list. So welcome, Mary Ann. You're just a wealth of information and your reports are always really extremely well done. She's the reason that a lot of it that we get these funds, but Senate Bill 548 was talking about designating the authority finally as rail transit district that can operate the train service. So that's what's going forward, is to determine who is going to operate it and how, and who's going to have the authority there. So Congressman Swalwell had put in an earmark for this for Valley Link, and that's why it was so important that we be designated as this transit system. That didn't make it through the funding stage, but we're looking for it to come back around in the future. The discretionary grants, I'll just mention one of the two that are out there right now. There's a Department of Transportation raised grant to look at the alignment efficiencies, because it has changed a lot. Remember, this program started with the overlap of the UOP rail. And now, because a lot of that didn't allow the 12-minute headways that you need to meld with BART and the other times that go out there, they're looking at this grant for $400,000 and the match is $400,000. So again, kudos to Valley Link for being able to go forward and apply for these funds and be eligible. And so that's a great deal of why they're continuing all these things that go on at the same time. So congratulations to the program. And I'm glad to report that it is going forward. So
Thank you, Karen, so much for that report. Robert?
Hey, Karen, how is San Joaquin Valley doing on raising their funds for their portion of the project?
Well, if we'd met the last couple of months, I'd probably have an answer for you here today. So I didn't follow up with that one in particular because they're going to have a bond to collect those funds, right?
Good.
So
they're
they're looking at putting it on a ballot to do so.
Thanks for doing such good work there, Karen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I also wanted to mention that with the Tri-Valley mayors, we've had the opportunity to do virtual meetings with DC as well, and have been bringing that home as well. A lot of people did not realize the traffic and the impact that it has on the area. So know that, you know, we've been fighting for that in that particular area. And we happen to have Bob Warner, who is with Livermore, as well as Melissa Hernandez, who is with Dublin, who both sit with you, Karen, and have been advocating as well. So good to know. So we're going to go ahead and move on. If there's not any other further questions or comments, we'll move on to item 8.5. And what I was going to say earlier is Mr. Calabrigo brought up the opportunity to have our meeting start slightly earlier, half an hour earlier, so that we can cover more ground. And I think that's, we need to just talk about that a little bit. If there's anybody.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anybody else? Is anybody in objection of that? If not,
we're just talking about the next study session on the 5th, on a Wednesday, the 15th.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm fine.
okay. If there's no objection to that, then we'll do that. Are there any other town council updates?
Just for clarification, we are meeting at the Vets Hall for our study session. Okay.
Okay. So what I wanted to do this evening is do something a little bit different for the closing of our meeting this evening. I wanted to do this in honor of Bill Dillard. Bill Dillard was a Danville police officer. He worked during the time that Ernie Kern was here, and he is also the father of our transportation manager, Andrew Dillard. And he passed away last month. And so I wanted to close our meeting in honor of him, as well as in honor of the 13 service members that were killed by the suicide bombing in Kabul. So from all of us, our hearts go out to the families, the friends, and condolences as well. So on that note, I'd like to say this meeting's adjourned. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Thank you. Have a good night.
I hope you guys can come to 9/11. I didn't want to make that an issue again. So.
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Karen, we should have mentioned that. 9/11, don't forget, 4:30.